Ukraine has seen the most infighting on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Mike Johnson drew much ire from his fellow Republicans for plowing ahead with the vote to send more American taxpayers' money to notoriously corrupt figures in Kyiv.
You see, the United States taxpayer has already sent $113 billion to Ukraine. And a lot of that money is unaccounted for. Ukraine is not a member of NATO, but the most important thing you hear in Washington, D.C. is, oh, we have to spend Americans' hard-earned tax dollars over to Ukraine and keep the money going to continue to murder Ukrainians, wipe out an entire generation of Ukrainian men.
2.5 years into this war, we still don't know what success looks like. Is it Crimea? Is it all of the Donbass? Is it hold what you got? We don't know. We just can't afford it.
This new spending, $60 billion, is designated as emergency spending, meaning it goes straight to our national debt, a national debt that grows every single second to the tune of $8 billion every single day. And by the way, while I was speaking, we have added another $5.5 million to the national debt.
No wonder Mike Johnson faces an ouster by his own party after flushing all that down the drain and sending billions of dollars to, well, that's actually quite interesting. To who exactly is all this money going? See, Vladimir Zelensky's legitimacy expires in less than a month after he cancelled this year's presidential election.
It has to hold free and fair elections because that is one obligation under the statute and under our conventions, and it will do so. Of course, there are problems because as long as you have martial law, your constitution does not allow to have elections, so you have to find a solution. That is not up to us to say how to do it, but of course, Ukraine has to organize free and fair elections.
I cannot think of a better symbol for Ukraine than to hold free and fair elections during the course of a war. Elections would not only be seen as an act of defiance against the Russian invasion, but an embrace of democracy and freedom.
It's no formality, de jure. Following May 20th, Zelensky becomes both a dictator and a usurper of power, with billions more dollars heading straight for his pockets.
There's nothing I don't think that the House of Representatives has considered that has to do with the true legality of what's happening here. With respect to sending additional funding to Ukraine, the idea that we're sending money to support democracy is a farce, and the fact that those elections have been canceled is proof of that. There's nothing democratic today about Ukraine, unfortunately, and so we continue to fund this conflict there, and it's not going to be fruitful for Ukraine.
And that could be only the beginning. Another bill has started to unlatch the door on Russia's frozen foreign assets and could allow the US to seize them and, well, send to Kyiv. More than 34,000 people have been killed in Gaza over the past 6 months, including more than 13,000 children. As the death toll mounts daily, the U.S. draws more and more flack as it remains Israel's biggest arms supplier. The new bill allocates $26 billion extra for Israel, with only a fraction of that number designated for humanitarian needs.
All of us have seen the tragedy of Gaza. We have seen how Prime Minister Netanyahu's government has used American weapons to kill indiscriminately, to force famine. Over 25,000 women and children dead. Tens of thousands of missiles and bombs levied on innocent civilians. And when we see it, we have to decide what we're going to do about it. Are we going to participate in that carnage or not? I choose not to. Prime Minister Netanyahu has been reckless. His actions have not led to the release of the remaining hostages. He's ignored the pleas of the families of hostages. He's ignored the pleas of the President of the United States. He's ignored his own people.
Netanyahu doesn't support the United States position of a two-state solution for peace. He doesn't respect our urges not to invade Rafah. He disputes what the U.S. and aid groups have said about famine taking over in Gaza, and he launched an attack on Iran after the White House told him not to. If he's not listening to us on matters of international security, how can he be trusted with more offensive weapons? Enough is enough.
If President Biden signs a bill giving Benjamin Netanyahu's government another $17 billion in unconditional military funding, that heartless decision could mark the point of no return for what remains of the White House's relationship with the American Muslim community and other Americans opposed to the genocide in Gaza.